Bro, Tyson Fury has just been told that Anthony Joshua, the man he's been calling out for years, has spent the last 3 months living inside Oleksandr Usyk's training camp. The same Usyk that Fury fought twice. The same camp that operates at a level most heavyweight fighters have never even seen. And when Fury heard this, his jaw dropped. Not literally, but what he said next told you everything about how much this actually caught him off guard. Because underneath the jokes, underneath the confidence, there is a Tyson Fury who just realized that the Anthony Joshua coming for him might be a completely different animal to the one he thought he knew. Strap in, this one is mad from start to finish. Right, so to really understand why Fury's reaction landed the way it did, you need to understand the full picture of what has been happening with Anthony Joshua behind the scenes, because most people wrote AJ off. And honestly, can you blame them? 2 losses to Usyk, both convincing. A period of genuine personal darkness outside the ring, tragedies, silence. The kind of quiet around a fighter that usually means one thing. And Fury was one of the loudest voices writing that narrative, calling AJ out, saying the fight would never happen, suggesting Joshua did not have the stomach for it anymore. Then the news drops. AJ is not just back in a gym somewhere doing light work. He is in Ukraine, inside Usyk's camp, training twice a day, morning and evening, living that environment completely, and not for a week or two, for 3 months. The moment that information started circulating, Fury got asked about it, and what followed was one of the most revealing interviews he has done in a long time, even if he didn't intend it to be.
We drink. You like coconut? Yes, you like. We drink cold coconut with ice and music, reggae. Yeah.
No
Long
tension,
step.
No tension, no tension.
Long, yeah. Good coconut. Yeah. Delicious. Long champ, long step. Yes. Help your hand, Alex. Boom, hand. Boom. Woo.
So here is what Fury actually said, and here is why it is more interesting than it sounds on the surface. His first response is dismissal. Says training with Usyk won't help Joshua at all. Classic deflection. Classic Fury. The kind of answer designed to shut the conversation down before it gets uncomfortable. But notice what he actually does not say. He does not bring up the fact that Usyk beat him twice. He does not acknowledge that the man now rebuilding Joshua is the same man who dismantled him across 2 fights. He skips straight past that inconvenient truth and just doubles down on the bravado. And that omission tells you more than anything he actually said out loud. But then something shifts. Instead of just moving on, he keeps going. He says he hopes AJ is in Usyk's corner when they fight, so he can beat one and immediately call out the other. Says he will bring Lennox Lewis into his corner to balance it out. Starts building this whole theatrical scenario in his head in real time. And that right there is the tell. Because Tyson Fury does not spend energy on things that do not bother him. When something genuinely does not concern him, he waves it off in one sentence and changes the subject. The fact that he kept going, kept adding layers, kept constructing this whole narrative around it, tells you this information landed differently than he wanted it to. He was caught off guard, and instead of sitting with that, he did what he always does, turned it into a performance. Because think about it from his perspective. He has spent years portraying Joshua as a mentally fragile shot fighter who is scared of the big moment. That was the story. That was comfortable. And now suddenly the information coming out of Ukraine is completely contradicting that narrative. AJ is in camp, training hard, twice a day, with the best team on the planet, being rebuilt from the ground up by a man who knows his weaknesses better than anyone alive. That is not the AJ that Fury had filed away in his head, and you could see it rattled him even through the jokes. Now here is where the story gets genuinely surprising, because the details coming out of this camp are not what anyone expected. Usyk does not talk about AJ like a training partner. He calls him his big brother, his actual words. Not a sparring partner, not a business arrangement, his brother. He took Joshua to his church, showed him Ukrainian food and culture, introduced him to Ukrainian music. This is a man who opened his entire life to someone who was supposed to be his rival and let him in completely. And Usyk's breakdown of Joshua as a fighter is fascinating. He says AJ is kind, well-behaved, hard-working, and smart. Tells a specific story where he caught Joshua doing an exercise wrong, showed him the correct version slowly, and within 2 or 3 attempts, AJ had it completely locked in. Usyk's genuine reaction in that moment, "Oh my God, bro, yes, he's got it," is not the reaction of a man going through the motions. That is real admiration from the man who beat him twice. But the detail that really stops you cold is what Usyk says about Joshua's condition coming into camp. He mentions a doctor advising AJ to take things slowly, not to rush. That tells you this is not just about ring rust. Joshua has been managing something deeper, physically and mentally, and the camp has been built carefully around that reality. This is a full reconstruction, not a tune-up. And then Usyk goes somewhere that nobody predicted. He maps out what he calls God's plan. 2021, he beats Joshua. 2022, rematch. 2024 to 2025, they train together. 2026 to 2027, Anthony Joshua becomes undisputed heavyweight champion. He says he does not think it is possible. He says he knows it. The man who took everything from AJ is now the man most convinced he is destined to get it all back. That is an extraordinary thing to hear out loud. Now let's talk about the detail that made everyone sit up straight this week. A journalist with serious and proven industry connections stated on record that the Fury-Joshua fight is not rumor anymore. It is not speculation. It is agreed. Both sides are moving towards it. The big money is in place. Netflix is involved. He stops just short of an official scoop, but is confident enough to put it publicly, and his track record backs that up completely. The suggested timeline is a Joshua tune-up fight around June or July 2026, followed by Fury versus Joshua late in the year or potentially early 2027, which lines up almost exactly with Usyk's vision of AJ being undisputed by 2026 to 2027. These two timelines are not a coincidence. They are connected. And here's the thing that makes Fury's reaction even more interesting in hindsight. He already knew this fight was coming when he was asked about the Usyk camp situation. He was not just reacting to AJ training with Usyk in the abstract. He was reacting to the knowledge that AJ, rebuilt, refocused, and apparently transformed by 3 months inside the best heavyweight camp in the world, is the man he is going to have to face. And that changes the calculation completely. Here is the part of this story that gets completely buried under all the noise, and it is arguably the most important part. In a separate interview this week, published in The Telegraph, Fury said something that does not sound like the Tyson Fury people are used to hearing. He admitted that inactivity in your late 30s is a killer for a fighter. Said he genuinely needed the Mahmoud fight to find out if he still belongs at the top level. That he has been out of the ring long enough that there are real questions even he cannot answer about where he is physically right now. That is a remarkable admission. This is a man heading towards 38, 15 months of inactivity behind him, and he is openly acknowledging that he does not know for certain whether he still has it. While on the other side of the equation you have Anthony Joshua, younger, rebuilt, training twice a day under Usyk, potentially arriving for the biggest fight of both their careers in the best shape he has been in years. Suddenly the laugh Fury gave when he heard about the Usyk camp situation reads a little differently, does it not? And this is where the story lands on something that genuinely stings if you are a boxing fan. Everyone around this situation, journalists, analysts, promoters, agrees on one thing. This fight should have happened 5 years ago. The early 2020s was the window. Both men at their absolute peak, the rivalry already built, the British public desperate for it, and it got missed, repeatedly, for various reasons that do not matter anymore. The point being made is that if these two men somehow end their careers without ever sharing a ring, it would be one of the great tragedies in British boxing history. Both of them would carry that. And the fact that it is now finally, genuinely moving towards happening, even if it is 5 years later than it should have been, is something worth being grateful for. Because Fury versus Joshua is not just a boxing match. It is the defining fight of a generation of British heavyweights. And if Usyk has genuinely rebuilt Joshua into something dangerous again, which everything coming out of that camp suggests he has, then what is coming might be even better than the version we missed 5 years ago. That is the full story. Fury's reaction. What is actually happening inside that camp. The fight that is agreed and coming. And the question nobody can answer yet. Has Usyk built a monster that is going to come back and haunt everyone who wrote AJ off? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think a rebuilt Anthony Joshua beats Tyson Fury? Subscribe if you are new, and we will see you on the next one.